Well, it's Friday. I'm drinking, and I guess we're gonna try to once again watch Steven Crowder and see until I laugh. Now this might be a little easier because I'm at least a little bit buzzed. Not quite drunk yet. And this video goes on, I might gradually drink more, so maybe Crowder has a chance. But it probably mostly be because of the booze, let's be honest. And here's some of my other videos. I was using them to promote. And Dusty's cool. Samantha Lux is great. I like Keffels, she's great. Rap Critic, nice to see you back, my brother. Good YouTube poops. Emma Foreign's really great. And there's a call for idiots back on his bullshit. But we already were on that. We're not going to that now. Do I still have that? I feel like I don't have it no more. Where's that fucker? I've watched so much stuff. It's very hard for me to find the actual footage. Where the fuck is that douchebag? Where are you at, doucher? Where are you with Cary watching Crowder? So it had to be around here. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna continue to watch Crowder until I laugh. Let's see if I get an ad. We're probably gonna get an ad first. Nope.
Pick a lane, Wayne's character.
Daddy, if I want you
Sorry if it looks blurry. I don't know why. I just updated my phone.
When I would bring up pronouns, they would come up with Wakanda. They would come up with Pokemon Trainer. They would come up with whatever was on your heart. And I was like, that is the world I want to see. Where we're calling ourselves cyborgs. We're calling ourselves whatever we need in order to feel good about ourselves. Like
Cyborgs, well, please tell me Skynet's falling. If there is any justice in the world, Terminator will be here soon.
These guys want to wipe out humanity because they have to live in a reality of trans people existing. Like, how miserable of a son of a bitch you have to be. Look at Crowder's face. Look at that face. Such hatred. Such an angry man. Like, he just is so mad. The fact that he's an unfunny comedian who's never had any success whatsoever except screaming at white ring garbage human beings. And he's built a fan base off of that. But that's easy to do. Any fucking person could do that with a laptop or a phone, really. I could do that. I don't want to because I'm not a miserable, sellout, grifting piece of shit. But Crowder, actually, I don't think Crowder is a sellout. I think he believes this shit. But he's still a miserable son of a bitch. So fuck him. Let's see more
Give me your
maddening.
bike, your boots, and you die later. Wait, do you want my pants? Are they cute?
That is the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impression ever, and I am not good at doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions.
He just comes up with an error, he's scanning, he's like, I cannot do this.
We want to identify as cyborgs. By the way, do you have any idea how racist AI is going to be? I think they would just wipe you out.
But did you hear what she said? When I talk to my youths, these are the words that they come up with. I want us to be known as whatever we want. The other person said, if I want to be called a unicorn, I want people to be okay with that. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
It looks like some AI just made nonsense and was like, sorry.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know how to make people.
This is your sequel to White Chicks. It's black things. Yeah.
That's very racist. But, yeah. What do you expect from this shit?
And you think it's not enough for them to just live in this way. They demand this.
At least I'm not going to sleep this time.
And they used to say that we were strawmanning. We would bring up, well, look, this is not only a slippery slope, but you have some people out there who want to identify as unicorns. Like, that's just absurd. You have these people who are taxpayer subsidized, targeting the youths, we should be allowed to be called unicorns and cyborgs. And the guy said,
I'm pretty sure Crowder's a Christian, which the original Bible does talk about unicorns existing, so he's a complete hypocrite. And if he's not a Christian, at the very least, a lot of his audience is. So, y'all are hypocrites. If you sit here and want to make fun of someone for identifying as a unicorn, but you follow a book that talks about unicorns, you're a complete hypocrite. That's the way I see it.
what do you say? I want to be called something and Aisha, a guy's name and Aisha?
Randy and Aisha.
I often confuse the two names.
Yes, well,
I was talking to Randy. No. Aisha. That's it.
It was, you know what? It was Randy Aisha.
And by the way, I love how it's toxic masculinity until a female appropriating masculine culture just lists all the stereotypes. I like my untrimmed brows, my gross mustache, my fat ass, my...
Who is saying anything about a fat ass in 2022, Steven? Big asses are very much in and have been basically most of my life. Like, that was a thing in the very early 2000s that died out very quickly because people liked big butts. Does this man just not understand culture? And mustaches. Okay. You talk about what was that? Gross mustaches. Well, what's a gross mustache? Like a Hitler mustache? Like I think I have a pretty ugly looking mustache, but I wouldn't call it gross. I just say it's stupid looking. Is his mustache gross? I don't know. And also, why is that a toxic masculinity thing? Unless the man who's saying it is gay, you're pretty much talking about the opposite of that, which would be toxic femininity. Like not wanting to go out with somebody because they have a mustache, ugly mustache. Look at the angry video game there with his cute cat, and the cute cat game that's probably terrible. Just look at all like you could be watching this, Cary. It's way better than this shit. Yes, I know, James, and you're way better. Your 5 times better than this man would ever be, in every single way. But you know, I'm a power through this because why not? You know, I got nothing left to lose. It's 2022. Supreme Court doesn't give a fuck about any of us. The country's slowly eroding away. I could be dead within a year. You never know. And that's a dark fall, but like, let's just fucking watch the worst shit ever and see if I can have one laugh at Steven Crowder. Part 2 is the video. Let's continue. I'll try to focus more on the thing and stop pausing. I'll try to do that. Try to go like 5 minutes while I do it, okay? Fair? Alright.
All these things, my fake dad. Wouldn't that be toxic masculinity? Oh, because you're faking it. It's beautiful and brave. Just like not every, but most transgender male individuals who become females, all of a sudden all of the gender stereotypes of womanhood come back into play. I know what it's like to be a woman. Why? Because I dress like a Barbie doll. Oh, okay, you listen to a few Aqua songs. Great, you know all the splendor that is womanhood.
Well, saying my big dick is really showing your bluff and gender poker.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I know what I just said, but I gotta comment on that. A few Aqua songs, besides all the horrible transphobia he just spewed, just ignore all of that. He's a piece of shit. I'm sorry to subject you to this. I should apologize at the beginning. There's gonna be a lot of transphobia here and probably a lot of homophobia. A few Aqua songs. There's one Aqua song most people can name, and it's called Barbie Girl. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're referring to. A few. I doubt there's anybody other than the most hardcore Aqua fans who can name 2 Barbie songs. Also, the last person I've seen talking about Aqua, like Barbie Girl, I hate that song, by the way. But last person I've seen talking about it on Twitter is a friend of mine who's a cis man. And that's fine. He likes it. I think it's terrible, but that's cool. That's his jam. He was talking about 90s jams. Well, there's other 90s songs but I ain't down with that fucker. Fuck Barbie Girl. I hate that song. Although they should use it in the Barbie movie. I don't care. That's my opinion. It makes sense to use it there. So I'm fine with it when it makes sense. Also, I like that it didn't beat the Spartans. Sue me. But, Steve Crowder, there ain't no fucking person on the planet, unless they're a super hardcore Aqua fan that knows more than one Aqua song. And I've never heard a trans woman talk about Barbie Girl, really. Never heard a trans man. Maybe they do, but I don't know. I've never heard it. It's not on the list of songs that usually you hear. Obviously, I'm not trying to make trans women seem like a monolith. I'm just saying. Now I'm really going to try to go 5 minutes without commenting on this. So let's continue.
Oh, my, 8-inch soft cock.
Yes. Huh? He's about to grab all the chips until the even crazier transgender pansexual is like, wait. Straight flush. Ah.
Oh.
That's every single poker game. If ever you're watching a poker game in film, if they reach for the chips with one hand, it means they don't win because someone else is going to go and then it's a full arm scoop. That's all I know about poker.
Well, the reality to all of this is there are people where this is a real problem, and maybe it's not a problem. Maybe this is who they are, whatever. But it's not all of you. There's just too many of you doing this, so it's a trend. That's the reality. Let's just put it out there.
You discount the confounding fact, the cofactors of colonialism.
Oh, that I forgot.
Oh, yes.
We know what it was, buckled shoes.
Yes.
And the pilgrim's buckled hat. Who the hell needs a buckle on a hat?
Right.
Absurd.
Maybe they had migraines.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if that works, let me know. I'll buckle my hat.
They
all
weren't
day.
even useful. You couldn't even use them. They didn't actually tighten anything. They were just decorative.
Right. Yeah, you know what?
A decorative.
You know what the problem with this
Probably
hat?
heavy.
Yes, this hat is not heavy enough.
No, you know what I need to lean
These are like the
forward.
kind of conversations you have with your friends, ranting about weird shit.
I had extra buckles.
Except usually when I do that with my friends, it's a lot more entertaining than this shit.
Meanwhile, they're walking around with pants that just keep falling out. Like, I can't take these knickers
What are you wearing?
I'd say at least they're having fun, but I want Crowder to be miserable because he's a piece of shit. He deserves misery. Fuck him. The other two, less so. I don't know a lot about them, but probably not to
What
be
if I don't want to
equally
wear
over.
Now here's the thing.
I made spenders.
If what you're hearing sounds like insane ramblings,
Because you are insane. Yeah, you are. You are. You literally are.
They basically acknowledge as much. At one point, one of these presenters, again, who's receiving your tax dollars and targeting your children. This is why parents, if you put your kids in public schools, and if you do not have some kind of a
This man is actually
ad blocker
putting me to
or whatever
sleep
it is,
again.
cyber sitter,
I'm not kidding.
It's almost child abuse because this is being pumped at them 24/7.
But
And dare I
teaching
say,
kids about the Bible and that they'll go to hell when they're like 5 if they don't believe in God isn't child abuse?
Often these kinds of conferences include pornography, if not also advocacy for pornography. Because how do you groom children without it? So at one point, one of the presenters actually talks about hearing the scream of his ancestors from nature as a child, and no one says, that's crazy.
For me, when I was growing up, colonialism looked a lot like, my first introduction to colonialism looked a lot like me waking up at, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, every morning to, sounds of, my ancestors screaming from outside my window, coming from the ground, coming from the earth, and nature outside, like waking me up to tell me that, like, hey, there's work to be done.
No, those were the souls of all the bodies you buried after wearing them as a skin suit.
I'm gonna say something that CM Punk said the Big Show once to Steven Crowder. You're not funny and nobody likes you. Do you get it? He was calling her Buffalo Bill. Yeah. Trans serial killer from a movie, Buffalo Bill. Okay, I wanted to say I kind of fucking up here. I don't know if that was 5 minutes or not, but I'm just gonna say about what he just said about how apparently no one interrupted her talking about the spirits of her ancestors. And, because that's a bad thing, apparently. Keep in mind, I'm going to point this out, that plenty of people in religions have no problem with their kids talking about, hearing the voice of God or Allah or their chosen deity. They have no problem with this. But when it's a person, a native person, this scenario, someone like a Native American, I believe that's what she is. I'm sorry if I'm getting their race wrong. I really am. But what she is, she's talking about her culture. Somehow, she should be mocked for that, according to Steven Crowder. Yeah. Just total hypocrisy. Like I said, I don't even know he's a Christian, but I'm pretty sure he is. And either way, even if he isn't, that's a common thing. People don't question that. If you have a kid say, oh, I heard the voice of God, people will be like, oh, good. The Holy Ghost. I've been in churches where they wanted me as a kid to go up and receive the Holy Ghost. I can tell you from experience. I didn't do it, but they wanted me to, and I was about 8. So keep that in mind. I was a lot younger than this lady is. Also, I'm pretty sure she's not a kid. So I don't know why he keeps saying, I think he's talking about she's talking to kids. Which probably isn't even true, because Steven Crowder is also a lying sack of shit. He probably is just making this shit up. But, whatever. Let's go back. I'm trying to sit here and see if we can get any humor out of it. I don't think we can. He's unfunny. He's painfully unfunny. His jokes would, at best, have maybe worked in the early 90s. And even then, they're just very bad. I do like when Jordan Peterson also made fun of him for getting mugged in Canada, in Toronto. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny, because Jordan Peterson, who's a piece of shit too, is a stupid, horrible man. But it's just funny to see him mock Steven Crowder, because they're basically, kissing each other's asses, and it's just funny to see them turn on each other like that. To me, it's funny. When shitty people turn on each other, it's funny. Anyway.
That wasn't your ancestors. That was the guy in the well who you give lotion to in a basket.
We also just built a pool on an Indian burial ground.
That's...
Nice. We had to make multiple movies to cover it.
Yeah.
You guys are referencing movies from 35 years ago.
Hey!
Are you Vince McMahon now?
Every morning at 4 a.m., I hear voices yelling outside that I need to wake up again. They're my ancestors from the ground.
Yeah.
Telling me to leave.
Your Honor,
The TV
That
was
joke-
waiting.
And by the way, of course,
That
we
joke,
never,
he didn't
never
even finish.
insinuate
Right.
in any capacity.
Anyway, sir.
No, and not in general, but that this individual specifically
Correct.
might be dealing with some kind of mental issues, because it would be wrong to say so, considering that Z says the screams were what radicalized Z, because well, it was the screams that radicalized him, but also I should note because the parents weren't there. So.
That's what really radicalized me at a very young age, amongst many other things. You know, hearing those screams every morning is what really radicalized me, because there are things that most other folks around me, including my mother, could not hear. And there are things that they you know, that did not affect those individuals in the same way. And I carried that. I followed those screams, you know, into the woods as a child. My parents, you know, didn't really like watch me very much.
You're
So they didn't really watch me very much growing up. So I often wandered into the woods and was taught by my ancestors in those woods, you know, in the forms of nature spirits, in the forms of elementals, in the forms of, you know, natural deities and old gods. You know, while I was out there, you know, I was taught many things.
Where are the people who, you know, condescend to Christians and say, "Oh, you're a flying spaghetti monster," even though, like, I'm like hearing the screams and into the.
I just covered that, Stevie. I just talked about that. I literally pointed out that you Christians have no problem with kids receiving Holy Ghost. You don't even care about that. You don't even see an issue with that. Since you're asking, there you go. There's your answer. But you're sitting here mocking somebody else for the same exact thing. You massive hypocrite. There's your answer. And the flying spaghetti monster is meant to mock all religions, not just Christianity. Duh.
Woods. Jesus was a historical figure. Certainly, at the very least, whether you're a Christian or not, you have to acknowledge the fundamental changing of Western civilization due to his impact.
We don't even know if he exists. There's no proof he actually existed. Okay? There's no proof whatsoever. There's literally none. In fact, the most proof we have is that there were prophets that existed around his time who might have said the things that he would have said, but there's no proof that one named Jesus, certainly not one who was doing miracles. And I think Jesus is very based as a fictional character. He's a very based fictional character, just like Goku is. In fact, Goku and Jesus have a lot of traits similar, except Goku whoops people's ass and Jesus doesn't. Fair enough, right? But okay, let's continue. I'm ranting.
Even virtues now that we recognize that were not virtues before Jesus Christ, like mercy and modern Christendom. What I really find...
Oh, no. Sorry, but you don't get to sit here and claim you understand mercy because of Jesus and modern Christendom when you literally support overturning Roe v. Wade. You don't get to do that. So fuck you, you unfunny hack. Okay, back to the video.
Concerning, and this does to me encapsulate a lot of the issue we're dealing with, is the person there says, you know, the screen that my mother couldn't hear the things that I hear. It assumes that they're real. It assumes that this person is correct. It's just, well, my perceived reality is reality. That's not true. And nowhere outside of this movement, which, by the way, is anti-science, it's anti-family, it's anti-Western civilization, but it's also anti-science and it's anti-reality. Nowhere else do you get to put your hand on a hot stove and say, my reality is it's not scalding my hand. Or stand in traffic and say, my reality is there are no cars on this freeway. But here, you get to say, well, my reality must be reality, so these other people didn't hear the screams, which made me feel really isolated. That's because there were no screams from your ancestors.
Yeah.
And by the way, they probably weren't your ancestors. Your grandfather's probably named Lyle.
It's like a beautiful mind without that beautiful part.
Right.
Well,
If they're indigenous, their grandfather's probably named Lyle, you weird jabronis.
by the way, I mentioned the Hollywood squares down at the bottom for all of the people that were snapping. I want you to notice, if somebody, later on, go back and watch this, or if you're watching, rewind this and look at the bottom. They're like...
Yeah.
They're like, these
They
are
stop
people...
snapping and they're
Yeah.
like, you just need
They're
medication.
like, oh, yeah. These are people willing, ready, and able to applaud whatever things they see on the screen and like, oh, damn.
And by the way,
You followed screams into the woods.
Oh,
By the way, when you were a kid, why'd you follow screams?
right.
That was comforting to you?
Yeah, exactly.
I heard screams in the woods and thought, hey, I'll go check it out.
See what they have to teach me.
Better than my home life.
The voices of the night, Phantom of the Cockra. The voices of the night. Is that the song? I don't know.
The Ghost of Christmas Ass.
Yes.
He doesn't even know the song from the Phantom of the Opera.
Well, there was the-
You dense motherfucker. It's literally called the Phantom of the Opera. It's the Phantom of the Opera is here. Why are you so stupid? Why are you this dumb? This man has access to, like all of us, access to Google. There's no way this dumbass is this dumb. Like, he can look up what, like, and also, I can have brain farts, but, like, come on, how you not gonna know the song for Phantom of the Opera? Phantom of the Opera is called Phantom of the Opera. I mean, come on, man. Just come on.
Ghost of Christmas Present. Unwrap it. It's for you. Oh, yeah, that's a thing in a box.
What joy.
Dick in a box. We're doing Dick in a box jokes for the year of our Lord
You
2022.
did go in there. So
Fucking
you
hell,
do
this
believe
man
in
is
demonic,
so
which means you have to
uncreative.
believe in some sort of
He's like almost
spiritual
20 years
afterlife.
old, bitch.
Now, if you believe you're
Like at
born
least
in
25 years
some other
old.
body, that means you have to believe in some
15
kind
years
of a
old, whatever.
soul, right? Because you're not. It's not your brain then working. It means that you have a spirit that was born
No,
in another body.
that's not what
You
it
have to believe in
means.
the demonic.
No,
So
you
how can
don't.
be anti-religion
Demonic.
and then believe all this stuff? It doesn't make any
They're
sense.
just anti-religion that actually, has some kind of moral accountability.
That's what's so strange, though.
Right.
It's like it would have, but for him, to
Nothing
know
you're
that
saying
that's
makes
somewhat
any
wrong,
sense.
Right.
They would have to. He would have to have.
This
Some
is like
moral
call for an
guidance to
uprising
some
reasoning,
degree
by the
to
way.
realize that that's, and everybody, like Gerald pointed out, below him, that were like, oh,
Yeah, when you've lost Bruce Valanche,
yeah, where he's like, I'm
Randy
sorry, what?
Candy is gone.
Yeah.
you know the specter that this gentleman
Yeah,
feels
when
most?
Randy Newman stops the piano and can't play what's going on.
Is Randy Newman gay? I don't get it. What?
Got a reason to live. Because he's short? Because he's crazy. Boop, boop. Spectre, he fears the most is the ghost of Christmas Coocher.
Not
Oh.
Phil's way.
Instead of pointing to a grave. it's
Again,
just
these are
Ghost of Christmas
Family
Coocher.
Guy
It's just
jokes that might work on
pointing
Family
to
Guy
a
with
gay
actual
rave bar,
gag.
and then right next to it is the grave of everyone who attended. So look, here's the
Wow,
So this is
wow,
designed to
even,
tear at the fabric.
wow, even our expectations were low, but still, what the actual fuck did this man, this overgrown man-child, literally just make a joke about gay people dying, presumably from AIDS? Like, what a piece of shit. Like, I know I'm repeating myself here. I need a drink after that, man. Fuck this asshole. Literally, he is infuriating. Like, I don't know if it would make it better if he was actually funny. Like, you know who's actually funny, but who has some really shit opinions is someone like Critical Drinker. Like, at the very least, when I used to watch him, he was pretty funny, you know? Like, he's an asshole, and he's two-faced as shit, but, like, he can tell a good joke. At the very least, he has comedic timing, let's say that. Steven Crowder has none of that. And his friends have none of that. Although it does feel like his friends are at least a little funnier than him because they don't seem to have the same. How do I put it? They're shitty, but like they're not as desperate. I guess like he's more like really needs you to get the joke, like the way he looks at you when he says it and like kind of explains it. He needs you to get it. But yeah, fuck this guy. I'll keep watching though. I'll power through for at least 10 more minutes.
It's very similar to what you see with the Second Amendment, right? So we can't do it constitutionally, so we'll do something by executive order and chip away. If they can't do away with Western civilization by just telling people, hey, don't you hate Western civilization and free enterprise and freedom? And most people say no. So what they try and do, this is the Marxist ideology, is they try and tear at the very fabric.
Literally no one
of
said anything
what
about
has
Marxism,
created
you
Western
weirdo.
civilization. Namely, by the
Except
way,
you.
The family, which requires gender roles. And I'm not going to play this game of gender and sex. They were entirely interchangeable until modern gender theory, which was from some start. You can go
They
back to
weren't.
War and French existentialism.
dumb
Those
fuck.
Some tribes had some different genders. Okay, fine. That's not entirely true. And B, you still couldn't get away with this. They wouldn't have thought that this was normal. But let me read you some of this from. You look at the Marxist philosophy: the destruction of capitalism, white supremacy, patriarchy, imperialism, and white European land ownership. So that's the goal. It's also, by the way, it's this whole thing is a scam. Just to be clear.
Like your whole career?
Black Lives Matter. Remember we're all saying like this is a scam.
It's
They're
not.
getting so much money and they're clearly
It's
not
not.
doing anything with it. They were saying defund
It's
the
not,
police.
you racist
By
moron.
the way, smash that like button, I should say, if you're watching this on YouTube.
I'm not. I'm going to smash that dislike button. I'm pretty sure I already did. But I'll smash it double 50 times on every account I have, you asshole. I'll make another YouTube account and smash it.
And the visual aids are very helpful. So,
Deeply disturbing.
yes, exactly.
One of the two.
So
I'm begging
railingly
you. Say
terrifying.
something remotely funny. Like,
It's not enough for them to just live. Remember tolerance? Now it's forced acceptance. Now it's forced acknowledgement of a false reality. And ultimately, the scam is, what do they want? It's a scam, by the way, reparations for black people in the United States. Just I'm against that. But they want now reparations. Not a joke. I'm so glad I have the clip. Reparations for trans people.
well, since trans people have a hard time getting hired for jobs because of fucked up gender discrimination and discrimination against trans people and queer people, including a person that they were saying on Twitter how she had a hard time as a trans woman going out and getting a job. Like every job she applied to, she didn't get like free yeses on I think like 10 different jobs, and she used to get, when she was dressed as, you know, presenting as a guy, she got a yes on every job. She got at least an application. Seeing as how that's a thing that your little fucked up society, your fucked up Western society helped make, you stupid smiling schmuck. Who's Canadian, by the way, so he has like no stake in this. He's not even American. But since that's the case, yeah, they should get reparations, you know? You fucking cunts. Especially since you support a party, you support a fucking party that is trying to take away the rights of adults to transition. That's not a joke. In Florida, at the very least, this fucking smiling shithead, this literal pile of human feces, who deserves to, at the very least, spend a long night in the Shadow Realm, literally supports that shit. And he also kisses Trump's ass for helping overturn Roe v. Wade. He even said God. That's why I say he's a Christian, because I saw his tweet saying that God picked Trump, or no, saying that Trump did it and he was chosen by God. That's the kind of person we're dealing with here. Sorry about the rant. But this unfunny fuck has literally triggered my rage so hard, my drunken rage, with his bullshittery, that I had to say something. And maybe this is funnier than anything he said. I don't know. I just know that this is not funny. But let's keep going, I guess.
I think another way that you can support people who are doing community work, if you have like access to generational wealth, if you're white and your parents, you know, like have like a savings account that is, you know, very much so connected to slavery and land theft.
That seems fair.
Pay people directly, give them the money so they can have the financial security in order to rest and to heal. And to
Why are they laughing? There's nothing wrong with that.
In a way that they wouldn't have
Like,
to
do these
because
assholes
they've
not
been
donate
doing
money
this
to
work
charity?
for
Why is
always
this a
been
bad
doing
thing?
this work.
Being productive and what
So,
have you.
I think Randy brought this up before, but like pay that money, you know, reparations, like pay that money to us now because we need that. We don't have, especially for Black and Indigenous folks, we don't have like
Exactly.
you know, a safety net in order to take that time to heal.
What is she
And
saying
it's
is wrong?
really
She's not
important
telling people to
stuff.
do it.
So,
She says if you
have those
choose to.
resources, share them.
So let me just list there some
Okay.
of the things.
Let's see if you can be funny for once in your miserable existence.
By the way, was that Austin Powers' chest hair? I wasn't sure what I was looking
I
at.
thought it was a shadow, but it also looked like chest hair.
We don't want to speak out of turn.
I don't know.
But at this point,
What?
this is the problem. Your
was
guess
a
is as good as
shirt.
it's whatever you're doing, we don't care.
You're so
But
stupid.
Let's go through that for a second. It's if you
Kofi
have money
Crowder.
in your savings account, you should give money, and of course, what they really mean is the government should force you to take money from your savings account. So boom, right there. We're talking about policy. We're talking about changing the way that civilization exists.
No. Sorry again. I'm not gonna let this stupid shithead sit here and put words in people's mouths, especially trans people's mouths, especially black trans people's mouths, who he's been very bigoted towards. Fuck you, Stephen Crowder, you Canadian chucklehead, you shit stain on the face of Canada. Listen here. She said if you have access to generational wealth that is coming from owning slaves, that if you can and you want to, you should donate. That's all. That's all it fucking is. No one is saying you have to do it. No one is saying the government's going to do it. You literal lying, unfunny hack, wannabe comedian who couldn't make it. You couldn't even main event a high school comedy show, bitch. That's how fucking unfunny you are.
And then you should give money to trans individuals.
Not against anybody who made it high school
Because
comedy. You know,
we've
whatever.
been
We're all starting out.
forced to work. So what we want to do is pay reparations. Remember, it used to be pay reparations to try and balance the playing field.
Yeah.
Now they're demanding to pay reparations.
No one's
to
demanding,
people
you moron.
who are not a race, by the way, to transgender individuals so that they can be unproductive while you pay for it. Hey, by the way, if everyone does that, how are you going to pay for anything? If everyone just rests. And again, I will say this is a bastardization of, as a Christian, what we believe.
He said Christian, see?
Christians
He said it right now, so there's your proof that he's a Christian.
The unions gave you a weekend. No, you know who it was? God. And it was like, yeah, you rest on the seventh day. Why? Because that really took a lot out of me, making people and the whole universe. Like, okay, you know what? You've earned yourself a day of rest.
You know, it's always bugged me that God would want a day of rest. Why would it take anything out of him to make people in the universe? Like, he's omnipotent, right? This dude should have energy forever, basically. Why would he need a day of rest? Why is he just trying to rip off Odin with Odin sleep? It's so fucking stupid. And this ain't funny either, but Jesus, like, it's so dumb. It's one of the dumbest things ever. Like, it's dumb that you have places closed and don't serve you booze and shit because it's Sunday, because some stupid fairy tale book says that an omnipotent deity need a day of rest. It makes no sense. Anyway, we're almost done.
Rest always, and they want you to pay for it, and they're indoctrinating an entire generation with this. That's how you do away with Western civilization. You have an entire generation of people who grew up thinking, well, you know what, you should have to pay for someone else to do nothing. Because
this man's fear mongers.
A very, very long time ago, some colonialists landed, and they committed genocide against chicks with dicks.
I didn't know that.
I have a PhD in these studies. That's where we are headed. And they're not even hiding the ball anymore. The motivations are completely, dare I say, transparent? Almost as transparent, by the way, as the transparent.
Okay. This is a skit now. Oh, I get it.
Did you eat your vegetables and brush your teeth? Yes, I did. Okay, good. See, I don't really have a problem with that.
That show on Hulu.
Because you made it, and it's unfunny.
And,
like everything you
this
do.
brings us to, by the way, they push harder and harder. He did do. I meant to talk about this.
This man is like the weirdest mix of bad dad jokes
film,
and just bigotry.
Matt Walsh over at Daily Wire.
He really has the vibe of somebody like from the
And this is a clip with
1920s
this one-
who just hates people for no reason other than they exist.
And this just goes to show you long.
And he's like, what, 37? Like, he's a few years older than me. It feels like he's like in his 60s, how angry he is about shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tapping out now. I'm not gonna laugh at this shit. This is the last time I make the video. I feel like that's enough. Fuck Steven Crowder. He's an unfunny hack. He's an unfunny shithead. I don't know if he's ever been funny. Possibly when he was a kid. Who knows? But yeah, this is just shit. Like, Jesus. Like, transparent parent. Funny pun. But you did nothing with it. Like, I could make the joke that's John Cena because you can't see him. Haha. Hell, I've seen a meme with a better transparent joke than that. And the meme wasn't offensive in any way.